Blueberry pancakes, always something that was in the movies. That would be like the ultimate mom was making blueberry pancakes for you. Is there a secret to blueberry pancakes, or is there just a secret to pancakes and anything is golden in addition?
Well, I mean, pancakes with we used to do banana pancakes, chocolate chip banana pancakes. We'd make the faces, all that stuff. But this is a little bit different version. We're going to bake the pancake, so you don't have to mess with frying each pancake. And then when it comes out of the oven, we're going to put blueberry, kind of like a blueberry syrup on top of it. So it's one big pancake that you can share.
You cut up in pieces like a pie. Okay. Well, let's make. How do you make pancakes?
Okay. Well, we're just gonna do a batter. 3 eggs.
You can also cheat, of course, and make pancakes with Bisquick or some generic off-the-shelf Aunt Jemima kind of thing, whatever
my
it
mom,
is that
my mom used to do Bisquick. Totally, that was her deal.
Yeah, didn't kill any of us.
Half a cup of skim milk. You could use whole milk if you wanted, but the skim milk works fine. You just break up the eggs in the milk. Flour, just a half a cup.
We need to talk about the basics of a pantry for baking. You have flour, just you have regular old flour, right?
All-purpose flour. Yeah. Unbleached is a little better for you. It's a little less processed, if there's such a thing.
Okay, but you don't need to get any kind of special brand of flour, King Arthur's baking flour or anything like that. And what else? Sugar. You have regular granulated sugar and maybe some
light brown sugar, maybe some powdered sugar.
Maybe some of this confectioner's sugar, which is the powdery kind of stuff. Great for topping things and for making desserts. And now you're adding a little...
Just a pinch of salt.
We talked about salt previous
Not so much to
episode.
Taste salty, but to bring the flavors out. Right?
So you have flour and sugar, and then generally baking soda and baking powder, two very different ingredients and always used in quite varying amounts. I mean, I've certainly made the mistake and used the tablespoon of baking powder, and I was supposed to use the tablespoon of baking soda. So something that when you are following a recipe, you have to be careful in using those two things, because that really pumps the air into whatever it is that you're baking.
They both work as an leavening agent, but one needs the acid, and the double-acting baking powder works kind of on its own. Anything you make like this, you wouldn't want to keep too long either, because it'll start to bubble or ferment if it had baking powder in it.
Right. And when you get that little can, I always sell it in a can about this big.
The tin of baking powder?
Yeah, and I think I've had the same one for, I don't know, a long time.
You don't use a lot of it, but it is important in some recipes. We're going to put a little juice, so it's going to have a little lemon flavor.
This is sounding like a good pancake I made.
And we're not going to put sugar in the batter. It doesn't need to be sweet. What we're going to do is we're going to pour the batter into a hot skillet with a couple tablespoons of butter in the skillet, so that we'll just have an old cast iron, and that's going to be what keeps it from sticking and also gives it kind of that golden crust on the outside, I guess.
What about here? If some people like to use Pam or a spray. They like to use oil. You wouldn't use olive oil because you're making bread.
Right. You could probably get away with the spray if you're trying to keep the fat low on your diet.
But then you're not going to get that.
You're not going to get the flavor, and you're not going to get that, probably not as good of a crust. And you think about it, I mean, this makes an 8-inch pancake, so for 4 people, it's really only half a tablespoon of butter. A little, wouldn't do that every morning, but.
Well, I would.
I'd like to do it every morning.
Definitely.
So once the butter is melted and kind of foamy.
when I put butter on my bread, I like to make it so that you can't really tell which part's the butter and which part's the bread.
Equal parts bread and butter?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so it's nice and melted, and all we're gonna do is pour the batter in, and it's a little loose, but it's gonna souffle or puff because of the eggs.
I'm really surprised that it's so loose. When you make the, not that I would cheat and use a box time myself, but when you do, it's thicker and it does tend to ferment almost right away. You get those little bubbles. So this actually looks like you're cooking an egg.
Yep.
It looks exactly like you're making scrambled eggs.
A light custardy kind of souffle pancake. And then we'll go right into a 375-degree oven. And it should take about 10 to 12 minutes, I'd say. Meantime, we can make a little blueberry kind of syrup. And with that, we're going to just use about a cup of blueberries. And we're going to use a little lemon zest from the lemon that we cut into. Not a lot, just a little for flavor. A little bit of sugar. And a splash of water. And we'll just cook them till they pop, and we're going to thicken up and make a little syrup.
Corbin is baking the world's largest pancake.
Okay, so it's set.
Is it butter on top?
A little bit of butter. Didn't stick.
I have to say I've never seen pancakes that look like that. That's not what that is not what mother's pancakes look like. But the thing that's cool about it is all the folds in it. It's going to hold on to the. Usually, you put the sauce on and just.
It runs over the edge.
Right.
So you can put it on a plate for the.
And as this sits out of the oven because it's not really a souffle, but it's got a souffle sort of texture to it. It's all puffed out.
But the egg is set, so it's like cooked inside like the pancake would be, creamy, and but you got the nice golden crust on the outside.
Nice.
And then we kind of jump to that. So we can do.
Right out of the pan, no stick, no mess, no cleanup. My favorite, no cleanup.
And then we got the cooked blueberries.
No need for any additional butter. Certainly no need for Aunt Jemima maple syrup. This is it. And then we're going to let it cool for just a second, and then we cut it up into pieces and
wedges or slices. If you wanted to do a little dusting of powdered sugar, that'd be more dessert-like. But breakfast is made to be savory and sweet. And since there's no sugar in the pancake itself, the sweetness comes from the fresh berries.
Right, but if we wanted to put a little bit of this is a half teaspoon. And just use the, you don't need a fancy sifter or anything like that, just a little strainer that you've probably had around the house forever.
Just give it a dusting.
Hit around the side. And this really does look like you're having a party. But not really any additional time from just making regular pancakes.
I find it easier because it's one big pancake as opposed to 10 or 12 little ones that you have to watch and flip.
You can definitely smell the egg in this pancake as opposed to, so I think it does have sort of you're having people over or having a brunch or a special occasion. It's Mother's Day or Father's Day or something. You really make something into this. This is good and right on time for Father's Day.
It'd be great for
blueberries in season.
And if you had no blueberries, you wanted to do raspberries or do mixed berries, throw a few strawberries in there too.
Some of the jam that we made in one of the previous episodes.
Yeah,
you
strawberry
just put
jam
the
right on
strawberry
there.
jam on
That'd be
top of that,
delicious.
and a little bit of confectioner's sugar, and a little bit of yogurt maybe if you're really going for the extra innings. And you've made a big hit for Dad.
I think you'd like it.
Yeah.
It's a man-sized pancake.
That is a man-sized pancake. Yep.